Yeah.
Act as a member of a biker gang.
Really?
Nobody wants to say it. It's just nobody wants to say it.
That's that's going to be the picture for the
I hope so.
like
better than Jerusalem.
You should really be in a window somewhere. But
My
if
God.
it's a picture for the show, that's good.
I'm sorry. My dogs apparently have trapped a killer upstairs. 1 second. Hold on. Be right back.
He's going to change his shirt, guys.
All right, Tex.
No, I am not going to. I'm confident in it. This is the away version of the other shirt. I like it. It works.
no, he's going to go choke that chicken.
No.
He's going to keep calling him Tex. That's it. He just wants to live in Dallas, man.
Yeehaw!
Getting his cowboy hat, apparently.
Is that Buck O'Neill or sorry, Roy Clark or?
It does look like a Roy Clark special.
Yes.
It does.
Buck Owens, not Buck O'Neill. Buck O'Neill is a famous Negro League baseball player. Buck Owens is the.
Now, for the young people out there, Roy Clark was this old-time banjo player. Really good. I mean, really good. If you like that kind of down-home, hickish kind of music, sorry. But he was really good.
See that's the thing. It's like if there is like torture, they should use this at Guantanamo to torture, people.
It was stereotypical. It was.
Oh my God! It was just so. I don't even remember what night it was on, but I just remember it was like I think it was actually Saturdays that it was broadcast here, and there's just the.
Really, you think that would get in the way of like the Grand Ole Opry show? I don't think that's possible.
That and the Lawrence Welk show. Oh my God!
Ooh.
Yeah.
The bubble machine, was that the one with the bubble machine?
Yes. Yeah, the Ray Conniff show and things like that. And at least like Johnny Cash had a show and he would have like Neil Young on it, or he'd have like just like mainstream acts who were country influenced.
X should be more like Johnny Cash, and just if he's going to wear that shirt, wear black and just wear black all the time.
Right.
And then at least those things wouldn't show up as much.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I don't know, what do you call them? They're not epaulets. I don't know what are they. Are they lightning strikes, Jillian? What are they? I don't know.
No idea what they are.
They look like the same pattern as some.
I don't even know where you get that shirt, to be honest.
Hey.
They look like the same pattern as some tramp stamps that I've seen over the years.
Really?
Oh, hey, Eck. Hey there.
We're just
We weren't
warming
talking
up.
about you at all.
No.
Well, what do you think? Anyway, no. All right. Okay,
Let's
listen.
a nice chicken you got there too, Eck. I like it.
Yeah, we've gone from Hee Haw to the Muppet Show here.
He
Apparently.
just showed up yesterday.
Okay.
My son is a collector of puppets and makes Muppets, and is rolling up my sleeves here to show how serious I am about today's show.
Can you roll
And,
up?
I'm surprised those sleeves aren't a different color. But oh
Can you
well.
roll up the entire shirt?
None of you can even afford this shirt.
I'm not saying.
I don't know if I'd want to, but that's fine.
Hey, Jill, come on. I need somebody on my side here.
I'm sorry, that shirt is beautiful.
Jillian is on the side of good.
I have this.
On the side of good sense.
It's always good to have a bell.
Things are going down. I think if you're gonna rock that style, though, like I agree with Russ. It's gotta be your thing. Like you gotta rock it all the time.
Well, it is pretty much my thing. This is what I wear a lot of the time. I mean, I have like 6 different shirts by this company called Buckle, which I like, which this shirt is.
That's the exact company name I expect that sells that shirt. Like that's the exact name. Like that's a perfect description of them.
I got the last one I wore. I got in Nashville during the All-Star game at a place right down, at one of the finest, boots establishments in the world that sells the finest in Western wear, which is, I guess, what this is considered.
I was gonna say that shirt's not sold by American Shopper.
Or the Spiegel catalog.
No.
Okay.
Hello, Hockey World. It's Wednesday, April 13th, 2016.
I'm Michael Lagello.
I'm Jillian Fisher.
I'm Russ Cohen from Sportsology.
And I'm Eklund, and you're watching the HockeyBuzzCast on HockeyBuzz.com. This is the podcast that comes to you every Monday through Friday, just to sort of rip me apart for an hour or so, and then we come back the next day to do the same thing. And
you love it.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And Jillian, good first entry into the Hockey Buzz world. I loved it. Awesome.
And I did another one today. Who knew I could do it?
Fantastic. Really good. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Definitely check it out. I told somebody the other day that we had hired Jillian Anderson, and I don't know. They're like, what? I'm like, oh, yeah, no. I'm like, no, not Jillian Anderson. I don't know why I called you Jillian Anderson.
Color act.
Different hair color. Yes.
Not Jillian Anderson, Julie Fisher. But let's get right to it. The Toronto Maple Leafs did not get the memo, obviously, that we are not allowed to do things on days that we predict the playoffs because they just do whatever the hell they want. And they do 2 signings today, and we will start there first. Mike, go ahead.
Much to my dismay, the Maple Leafs signed Morgan Riley. No, that was actually a great signing.
How could these signings be to your dismay?
Well, not the first signing, but the second one. The second one was the signing of Nazem Kadri to a 6-year deal.
All right.
Morgan, well, let me
before we go negative on this thing.
Okay, I already did, so there you go.
I know, I tried. Morgan Riley at $5 million a year is a great friggin' deal. That is a great deal.
I mean, Morgan.
Okay, yes, and then Nazem Kadri, who I know has had his ups and downs, and I know thinks pretty highly of himself, is definitely one of those guys who, at $4.5 million a year, with a limited no trade clause, is another really good signing.
The best. Okay, first of all, I agree with you on Riley. Riley was that salary was commensurate with some of the long-term deals that have been signed out of entry level, guys like Klingberg, guys like Clefbaum, Adam Larson was after a bridge deal. It makes sense. They buy a couple years of unrestricted free agency. He's a guy they like. Lamoriello said in his conference call, he's the guy that they want to build the defense around, which makes sense. Former 5th pick overall, very good player, good character guy. So good signing there. Kadri, I think they're rolling the dice. I mean, obviously Babcock likes him. He likes the grit. He likes the energy that he brings. I think personally it's a bit of a risk because there are character issues, not off the ice apparently anymore, but on the ice. I think he cost himself money with the lunacy at the end of the year with the throat slash and the cross checking and a few other things that he did. The contract is undervalued for a guy who is a former top 10 pick who's had a couple really good years. He should have made over $5 million. I think the reason they signed him for 6 years is because they got him at a reduced rate. And I think a couple years down the line, like when they have Nylander fully developed and other players moving into the center, this is a tradable deal. So I think this was more value than it was an endorsement of Nazem Kadri as a great player. Russ, but
here's the thing. I think it's somewhere in the middle. Eck, if you remember a couple weeks ago, I told you I don't think 3/4 of what Kadri does bothers the Leafs. And actually, I think 75% of what he does really is what Mike Babcock likes. He likes guys.
I don't remember you telling me that, but I completely agree with you.
Babcock likes guys who are hard to play against. He likes guys that are up to shenanigans on the ice if it helps his team.
Yeah, he does.
Now, I get the throat slashing thing they're not in favor of, no doubt about it. But he's been fairly consistent being a 45-point guy. Maybe he'll be a 50-point guy. But the thing is, I don't think they signed him so they could worry about, hey, if we need to trade him. I don't think they did that, but I think what they did is right now they're bridging the gap between what the Leafs are and what they're going to be, and in 3 years we'll see if Kadri can still crack that lineup, and if not, then maybe they would trade him. But to me, that's the only way.
Yeah.
The length of that contract seems a little long for, I think I still see some problems with Kadri character. They say off the ice not so much, but it just seems like 6 years is an easy length to become slightly complacent.
Right. That's the thing. With him, I mean, I think Babcock is always going to keep his feet to the fire, and Babcock, I think, fed into his, Nazem Kadri is never been short of ego. And I think Lamoriello and Shanahan and Babcock really fed into that this year by talking him up, by giving him confidence, by saying good, positive things about him. And if that's what's necessary to make him buy in, then fine. But I think I don't think he will survive the length of this contract. It's a good deal right now. And I've had a couple people send me messages. Well, this means that they're out of the Stamkos sweepstakes. Well, I think that symptom of this is that Tyler Bozak will not be with the Leafs next year. You have William Nylander coming in on a second year of his entry-level deal, making less than $1 million. He's probably going to be the number 2 or number 3 center. Kadri will be one or the other. And this either makes room for if they get Austin Matthews in the draft lottery or if they sign Steven Stamkos or both. That's possible.
John Shannon said both today. He said Stamkos is your number 1, Austin Matthews is your number 2, Kadri is your number 3 next year.
And Nylander moves to the wing then. If but that's the best case scenario. That's like if everything hits, and you can't.
Yeah, that's hitting the jackpot. You can't count on that.
No, I mean that is the best case scenario, of course, and that's that always happens in Toronto though, so we should expect it.
Even Conn Smythe wouldn't have expected that.
Let me play you how I think these negotiations went, okay? Because I'm gonna reenact them. I'm going to be Lou Lamoriello in this case, and Mike, you can be the agent for Nazem. You can ask me for $6 million. Ready? Hold on.
That's not like Wild Wild West music.
Godfather.
What is it that you want today, young man?
$6 million.
Hold on a second.
I'm not even sure what's happening right now.
I'm going to write down a number for you. I'm going to put it on this piece of paper. And you're going to like it. Here you go. Sliding it across the table, too. How about it?
No.
Shannon, do we still have that cleaver anywhere? There's your deal.
There you go. Okay. Well,
Sorry.
no, and okay, you have to give Lou Lamoriello some credit because in New Jersey he did get some players on deals that were undervalued. I would say in the last few years when he was in New Jersey, there were contracts that he signed that were ridiculous, like Ryan Clough in free agency, like the money he gave Travis.
To back up Lou, ownership did force him into a few contracts.
And ownership forced him into the Kovalchuk deal, but the guys that he drafted, like Travis Zajac, who I don't think has ever lived up to the contract that he was signing.
Yeah, but not really Lou's fault. I mean, a lot of people missed that one. I mean, that's like... Yeah. Right, a lot of people thought.
I mean, that's part of the whole thing.
It's also, you have New Jersey, but this is the thing. It's like he was the chief boss in Pensacola, New Jersey, and now he's the chief boss in New York. Like this is like completely changed from being the chief. I mean, this is a way more powerful Lou Lamoriello in Toronto. He can get a lot more done.
And for fans out there, think, okay, now they've spent all this money. They've got tons of room under the cap, and they've got the financial resources. You've got Stefan Robidas is missing in action. He will be on long-term injury next year. Joffrey Lupul, in the press conference, in the media scrum on Sunday, Lou Lamoriello he barely mentioned Joffrey Lupul when they asked him what was going to happen with him. So he could get, quote, Robidas, unquote, and may not even be on the team next year. It's completely possible. They've got, they can probably put $13-14 million with a salary on long-term injury to make room. So that is what's probably going to happen. They have a lot of flexibility and a lot of financial muscle to back up.
Sometimes it's up to the man, right? I mean, like a company like Buckled can sell a great shirt, but it's up to the guy who buys it to know if he looks good in it or not. I mean, really, it's the same thing.
1 second. Sending you a text. Hold on. Russ, I've really enjoyed your time here at Hockey Buzz. All right. I'm not quite that. All right. Despite what Russ just said, I think we should move on to the playoffs. But I think that this is definitely something. And of course, the other story today is the possible signing of this Russian kid.
Zaitsev.
Daniel Zaitsev. And like I said, when I brought this up when I was writing this out, my wife, who of course is way more intelligent than any of us, said, the Zaitsev theory, and there's this weird chemical theory that a Russian scientist developed years ago. I don't think that this guy is responsible for that at all, but Probably.
I also read it, and I read it a couple times, and I was not really.
Yeah, I couldn't understand either. I don't even understand what an alkaline is.
This just shows how intelligent your wife is, that she can understand that, and I couldn't understand that. Damn.
What does your wife do exactly, if you don't mind?
Oh no, she's an electrical engineer. She's a PhD, and yeah, she's up there. Yep.
But no, actually, the funny thing is that the association with Zaitsev has always been the movie Enemy at the Gates. The character that is the Russian sniper. Apparently, he's a distant relative of a guy named Vasily Zaitsev.
Wow, this guy's really.
Which was played by Jude Law in the movie. But
now, Russ, can you get to Zaitsev at all and find out if
Russ
he is related to
Russ
this?
is away from his chair.
Oh, Russ is away.
Rallying the dog.
That's because
He's
right now,
taken out right now. That's actually.
That's right. He's being taken outside right now and being talked to by some of the people I've sent over to his house.
By the KGB. That's what.
No, some of the people that I sent over just for this to talk to him a little bit. Russ will be back in a little while with compliments about my shirt, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the point about Zaitsev is, and the report out of Russia was that Sergei Fedorov, who is the GM of CSKA Moscow,
and scarier than Lou Lamoriello probably,
and pretty much knew. And I was saying this to Russ. The Leafs talked to Zaitsev last summer. I would not be surprised if ex-teammate Brendan Shanahan had maybe contacted Fedorov and said, when this guy's contract is up, we're going to sign him, because he knew last fall that Zaitsev was going to go to Toronto, and that's.
What does he bring, Russ? What does Zaitsev bring?
Well, he brings offense and he brings puck moving, but we don't know how much offense. I mean, The thing is, he's younger than Medvedev, so that's a plus, because we saw that, while Medvedev does move the puck really well and does have a great shot, he never really got into the flow with the Flyers, and he's literally on the outside looking in now.
Aren't they friendly with each other, Zaitsev and Medvedev? Yeah, I thought so. I remember them both talking about, the rumor was that they were both maybe going to go to Washington before, like that Ovechkin was pulling for both of these guys.
Yeah, I think that was the case. But again, these guys are wild cards. When they come here, you don't know. I mean, luckily, I think in Toronto he'll have a better chance of having to be able to take his time, right? In Philly, things were different because there was a new coach, new system. He's learning a new language. There's all that. I think it'll be less strenuous for Zaitsev in Toronto. And so I think he'll be a second pairing guy.
Exactly.
And then they'll see what they have in him, and he'll, we won't really know until half season probably, because there's going to be communication problems. The other thing that I do know is that Dandanov is actually in Miami now. His contract runs out on the 30th, so he'll be a free agent on the 30th. So somebody will take him back in the NHL too. He's got to play a third, fourth line role for somebody. So Russians are starting to flee the KHL a bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if Medvedev is given a call by the Maple Leafs as well. Honestly, because I know Medvedev is not, he had an okay year with the Flyers. At times he was not very good. At times he was very good.
Yep.
But if you're gonna help a guy like this transition in, you really need. I mean, he's good enough, in my opinion, for that team right now to bring in on a year to help this kid transition in.
Mm-hmm. It's possible, but I think also the possibility there, and and that's no guaranteed, but we heard about it a few weeks ago. He's very close with Radulov. They've been teammates for more than, I think, three or 4 years.
Yeah.
And Radulov has been mentioned in rumors about Toronto. I don't know if that's the case. It may have been just a report. It was mentioned that it was more a rumor to sort of undercut what was going on with Moscow when they were playing SKA St. Petersburg.
That's what I think was, and I think that Lou is very close with Poyle. I think that that's definitely something that I would be.
He's a UFA act. Nashville has no.
No. What I mean is, he would talk to Poyle about character. Not, I know he can come up, but I'm just saying that.
Yes, you're right.
The Poyle went through the Radulov experience not just once but twice, and I think that there's definitely some, and there's some players in Nashville too who really tell you that they really backed Radulov coming back, and they sort of had his back, and they were really upset when he let them down too. There were players on the Predators, top players on the Predators, who really felt betrayed. So there's a lot of stuff there. So it's a whole nother world. But we should really get into the playoffs because that's where we are. All right, so let's start right from the top with the most exciting series, the one that's captivating the world right now, Tampa and Detroit. I mean this sarcastically to a degree, but at the same time, this is one of the series. This kind of reminds you a little bit of last year. People have been bringing up, I think you brought it up, Mike, about the Calgary-Vancouver's first round series last year of two teams that were, probably not playing their best hockey going into the playoffs. But I think this is very different. Okay. I will let you go first, and I will then give my prediction. But let's let Jillian go first on this one, and we'll each take one series to go first on. So is that all right, Jillian? If I throw you under the bus right away?
Yeah, throw me under the bus.
All right, you got it.
I'm picking Tampa Bay. I don't know if we're looking for more details than that, but is that?
No, you don't have to. It's
I think even though Tampa Bay has a lot of injuries, I just don't see Detroit beating them in a best-of-7 series. Maybe they get, if it's just one game, I can see Detroit winning. But at best-of-7, I still think it goes to Tampa.
I'm pretty darn close to where you are. Mike, go ahead.
I refer to this as the battle of the team that will get eliminated by Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit, I'm surprised that they made the playoffs. They almost, if it wasn't for the Boston collapse, they would have missed. I think there are some good players on that team. There are some good role players on that team. There are also some big holes on the Red Wings. Howard, played well down the stretch, but then slipped in the last couple games. Datsuk, a lot of stuff going on about his eventual departure from the Wings and going back to the KHL, so that's a distraction. I mean, Tampa, everything is physical. Everything is Stamkos being unavailable, Johnson being at less than 50%, probably starting to see Strowman with a broken leg. I mean, if they were healthy, Tampa Bay would probably win this series in 5 games. I was toying with the idea of going with Detroit, but I just can't justify it. I think Ben Bishop will come up big, so I'm going to go Tampa Bay in 7.
And 7,
Russ.
Russ.
I'm going to go 7 games. Oh, I was thinking 5 or 6 max.
5 or 6, okay.
I'm going Tampa in 7 too. I think it's going to be a situation where you have 2 boxers that are punching and counter-punching each other, and one's going to try and outlast the other. And I think Bishop will be the difference in this, but I also think Drouin's going to have a big impact on this series, and I think that is going to be like a saving grace for Tampa because, look, Tyler Johnson can play, but we know he's really banged up. I don't know when he got banged up last year, he didn't do much, so I don't know what he's going to be able to do this year. They still have Hedman. They still have players, Killorn. They have other players that have been there. So at the end of the day, I like Tampa. Maybe Callahan wakes up. I think they have enough.
I am going to agree with you on this one. I think Tampa as well. For a lot of what Jillian said, I can see Detroit winning a couple games, but not many. I think that the one thing that we can say is last year is really interesting. I was going back last year and looking at the series, and last year going into the series, I wrote that if Tampa could get by Detroit, they would go to the Stanley Cup Finals. That things matched up, and that was based on me and my love of matchups. They really matched up well against the other teams, and it proved out, right? Mm-hmm. But I said this would be the toughest series for them, and it was last year. It was the toughest in the East. I mean, it went 7 games. They were down 3-2 in the series, and they really battled back. I think that the experience gained by Tampa last year through the playoff run is enough to get them through this series by the other players, and you have Jan Strowman, beyond Stamkos, you have enough here to beat. Now, can they beat Florida or the Islanders in the next round? It's a lot more iffy.
You got to see what everybody looks like injury-wise and otherwise.
Yeah, right. But it's possible. I mean, it's not impossible that Tampa could find themselves back in the conference finals. I mean, it's really. I think people are underestimating Tampa right now. And I thought it was interesting. Stamkos sent them sent the team a message. Just get to the finals and I'll be there. And I don't think that that's impossible. I think the finals are a real long shot. But I think the conference finals, I could see any one of the 3 other teams, not necessarily Detroit, but the 3 other teams going to the conference finals. I think any one of them could do it. But I'm going to go with Tampa in this one. But I'm saying 7. I think Detroit will give them a battle again because it is Detroit and Detroit battles them. But goaltending will win out in this one. I mean, remember the playoffs to me come down to goaltending and power plays. Quite often that's what the 2 biggest things I think about, and the power plays will still be strong for Tampa. And the goaltending, Bishop is just better than either Mrazek or Howard. And
one other player, the Nemestikov has really had a great year. He's a kid that I've been tracking for 2 or 3 years, and it seems like he's put it all together this year. Yeah. And he's another one where now he's going to have a little bit of a bigger role. There's Kucherov. There's still enough scoring to get by. That's what I think.
And he's another one I believe Russ has to be signed at the end of this year. I think he's an RFA, so there's another player that they're going to have to be concerned about getting locked up on either on a bridge deal, but it's not going to be a cheap bridge deal. These RFAs that they have are all going to add up, which is why I think they're not going to re-sign Stamkos.
Right, now I'm going to always, every day, I'm going to give you the matchup winner of this series because I really am such a big believer. I'm going to see if we can actually beat the matchups this year. That was my goal because the last couple years we haven't. I went through it, and I'm going to do a story on this, but it's incredible how the matchups have beaten most of the – by my method of matchups is this, and for whatever reason this method seems to work. You go the last 3 seasons, and then if it's tied, you go this year, just only this year as to who won. And if you do that, for some reason, it works. Like I went through 2 years ago, and I'm working on last year. But 2 years ago, okay, the favorites. And this is math for you, Russ. Sorry, so I apologize. But 2 years ago, I got it right here. It's really interesting, and will be interesting in just a second as I tell you exactly what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. 2 years ago, the favorites. So if you just went throughout the entire playoff round, that's 15 series. Okay. The home favorites were 6 and 9, so the away teams did win 2 years ago more than the home teams did, 6 and 9. But if you went off the matchups, they were 9 and 6, and that to me is it's consistent throughout. So the matchup in this series is drum roll please. I just had it right here. The Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, so Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa has won 5 of the last 8 over the last 3 years, including the last 2 handily over the Red Wings. So for what it's worth, there you have it. And this is not. I don't use the playoffs in this system, so this is only regular season. All right, so let's go to the next series, and for this series, which will be Chicago and St. Louis, we'll start with Mike. So Mike, we got the Blues, and we have the Hawks.
Well, I give the goaltending advantage here to Chicago. Crawford over Brian Elliott. Allen apparently is still. I know that Elliott's starting the series, and I don't know if Allen is physically able to.
I don't think so.
Up or not. I think it's Binnington backing him up, but
I think this is Elliott's series right now.
Yeah, it's probably Elliott's series based on the fact that Allen dropped the ball late in the regular season. And they only started winning consistently when Elliott came back. But I still think Crawford, he's been tested in a couple Stanley Cup victories. He's not perfect, and he showed that in the first round last year when he dropped the ball against Nashville and Darling picked it up. But they're going to be missing Duncan Keith for the first game due to the suspension. So, first game will be tough for them to win. It'll be in St. Louis. I think the forwards for Chicago are superior to the Blues, not by leaps and bounds, but I think Stanley Cup winning experience, confidence, and talent. I think there's more on the Blackhawks side, especially after adding Ladd. Backus is going to be playing at around 50%. They say he's going to play, but he's going to be hobbled. At least. That's the indications. We never really know how injured these guys are. I think in terms of championship pedigree, in terms of who the better team is, I think it's Chicago. I predict Hawks in 6.
Nice. Let's go to Jill.
I have St. Louis in 7. I think one thing also is the Blackhawks, they have the Stanley Cup experience, but last year you saw they were running Keith on how many minutes per game? So I don't see them having as much defensive depth minus Corey Crawford. And if he plays like he has in previous postseasons, that does give them the large advantage. But I am still going to pick the Blues. I think I'm also seeing the Hawks they not slid into the playoffs. They just weren't hot when they went in there, and we've all seen them. They can turn it on, but it just seems like this team. They're looking for back-to-back cups, and it's been impossible since the salary cap has been imposed. I'm going to go with the Blues in 7 games.
There you go, Russ.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I worry about St. Louis's secondary scoring, especially with Backus being banged up. I worry about the Blues having like a shutdown forward to work against some of the big centermen for the Hawks. And big, I just mean good players. Obviously, Patrick Kane is not big, but to shut him down is nearly impossible. I do like Crawford better than Elliott. I do think Keith being suspended is a rest. And all last year I kept saying they can't do this with Duncan Keith. They can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. And they did it all year. And so I'm never going to say that again because he did it. So at the end of the day, I really do think the Blackhawks are going to pull this out. I think they just had too much scoring. St. Louis could certainly shut them down to a degree, but there's just too, they roll all four. Like the Blackhawks, they're one of the few teams in the league that could score off four lines. So I'm going to say Blackhawks in 6.
And Russ, their depth on defense this year is better than it was last year. You're not going to see Kyle Comiskey or an over the hill Kimmo Timonen playing for them.
Or Rundblad. They basically played Kimmo Timonen on one leg over Rundblad. I mean, it was that bad.
It's going to be Trevor Van Riemsdyk. It's going to be Ehrhoff. It's going to be Roosevelt. That they have depth on defense. It's not great depth, but it's better than it was last year. Yes. And Keith is going to have 2 weeks off before the playoffs, basically. So.
Yep.
There you go. I like that one. Okay, my pick for this one. Well, first I'm going to start. It's funny. I just got a text from somebody who watched our show last year who said that we have to do what we did last year because they loved it so much. We have to do the winners if the mascots were to meet in a battle. So I'm going to do that. I forgot about that. So we're going to start with the Red Wings and Lightning for a second.
Thank you.
What now?
Mike was expressing his complete and sincere gratitude to whoever texted that in.
Have some fun, Jello. Come on, man. Here we go. Ready? All right. Simple. This is a really the Red Wings. I had to search this for a second there. How they got their name again, I forgot. They were named after the famous Mr. Norris of the Norris Trophy, who Norris Trophy fame, who actually was one of their original owners, I guess. I think I might be wrong on this. This is close to accurate, but the idea here is that he played for a team called the Winged Wheelers in Montreal, and he brought in as an homage to the motor industry and the the automotive industry in Detroit, named them the Red Wings, which I think was a bicycle brand at the time, if I remember right. And but he named them the Red Wings, and maybe he was looking for sponsorship or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's what he named them. So the Lightning, of course, is a weather phenomena. So, all right.
Phenomena?
Yes, we all know what lightning means. Okay, so cars versus lightning.
Lightning. I'm taking it. Well, I'm taking lightning. I'm not going to
fight
against
lightning. No, absolutely wrong. As a husband of a very proficient scientist like we know, I am. I will tell you that cars are grounded and never hit by lightning because of their big rubber wheels. They are.
Wait, are we talking which one we would rather go against, or when they face?
No, when they're pitted against each other.
Oh.
So
yeah, I'm taking the car.
No, I think
in that
case. Right, because there's no question that lightning doesn't do any damage. One of the safest places to be in a lightning storm is in your car.
No, you know what? I'm still gonna go with lightning. I'm gonna say lightning strikes a tree and then you can ruin the car that way.
Oh, that's a good, interesting. That means that lightning's gonna get some help.
Yeah.
I'm not taking part in this debate whatsoever.
Boo!
For Detroit to win this series, they're gonna need help. So that's.
All right, so let's go back to St. Louis and Chicago, but that is the so we're going with the cars though. I'm going to say the cars. The cars are the one there because I am the decider when it comes to these battles. You can make your points.
Shenanigans. I'm throwing my shenanigans flag.
You can make your arguments, but I'm saying this. All right, so back to Chicago, St. Louis.
Russia now.
Starting with my prediction here. I do actually think that a goalie will be the issue in this series, but I do not think it'll be on the St. Louis side. That is my surprise of this series.
There you go.
Okay, I think that this is going to be the first time. I mean, you have to admit that Corey Crawford has struggled mightily lately. He was hurt before that. He's played one game in the last month or so. He did not look very good in that game. I saw that game.
The same thing every year that's said about him, though.
I know, and every year
he's the most maligned goalie in the league.
He and Marc-Andre Fleury are the two most maligned goalies in the league. I do agree with you on that one. But Corey Crawford deserves more credit than that. But I'm not going to give it to him. And I think Brian Elliott has always deserved more credit than he gets, and I am going to give it to him. I think Elliott is going to. I think the Blues are set and ready to take this. This is the first time I've actually don't think I've picked the Blues against the Hawks in the past. But I really feel like this is. I think Tarasenko. This Blues team is way better than people give him credit for. This Blues team is healthy for the first time all season. The first time they're going to have their entire lineup in is going to be tonight. You know that?
You're going to go look at their goal totals. They're going to scare you.
I don't care. I'm Tarasenko, Schwartz. These guys are really. I mean, a lot of their goal totals have to do with the fact that they've had so many guys.
Tarasenko had 40. Backus had 21. Fabry had 18. Like they don't score a lot of goals.
Schwartz was out for half the year.
Yeah, but they were out. Schwartz was out. Schwartz, to me, as you know, is my favorite blue, and I really think that he is
May the Schwartz be with you.
Completely underrated, right? Exactly. So I think this is St. Louis's series. I think we're going to see Crawford. We're going to have Crawford issues starting tonight. Remember the way Crawford started last year against the Predators? It was not good. He struggled in that series. They ended up pulling him and going to Ron Darling or whatever his name is.
Scott Darling. Ron Darling would be happy, but he's a pitcher.
Not Ron Darling.
Scott Darling.
Ted Darling.
Thank you. So I think that we could see Mr. Darling again, and I think that this series is going to end in 7 games, but it's in Chicago, in St. Louis for the Blues. The Blues finally getting over that hoopla, and I would love to be in that arena for that 7th game, because that 7th game will be a game to remember if they get to a 7th game in the series. All right. Matchups favor what I'm saying. The Blues actually are the win based on the favorites in this series. They went 3-2 this year, and in the past, over the last couple years, they've won 5 of 9, so they're 5-4. No, 6-4. Sorry, 6-4 and 3-2 this year. So the favors the Blues matchups wise. I'm going with the Blues. Let's now take the Blues.
It's amazing how the math aligns with whoever you pick.
No. I mean, I do take the matchups into consideration because I know that they're right usually. So I do take them. I don't always go with them. You'll see. I do not always go with them. Soon, you'll see very soon.
You might as well just have the 3 ladies who used to be with Godzilla on your shoulder and telling you what to do. I'm just saying.
Okay. Let's see if this chicken needs a job. All right. So, here we go. That's a little foreshadowing. Okay. So let's go into now a Blues versus a Blackhawk. A Blackhawk is of course an American Indian, a famous Indian tribe, and I've always liked the best uniform in all the sports, perhaps. An incredible uniform. I don't like their black ones, but the red ones are awesome. I almost bought one a couple times, but I just can't buy one. I feel like it just would be a horrible thing for me to do. But I would love to have it of all the jerseys I have, and I have a ton of them over there, as you guys have seen before. I do not have a Blackhawks jersey. Okay, so the blues is a melancholy form of jazz that sort of revolved around the issue. So this is a really hard one to go with. I mean.
No, it's not.
No, I think it's a Blackhawk.
The Blackhawk would take a hatchet to the Blues.
They're strong Indians. They're powerful. They're loyal to the land. The strength of Blues can pretty much lull anyone into feeling like they need to have another drink.
I think you're looking at it the wrong way. I think if you hit the right note, you could break glass and you could probably puncture eardrums. And I think they will hit the right note, and that will injure the Blackhawk, and the Blackhawk will be like Blackhawk down, for a lack of a better word.
Blackhawk.
Wow, that was a stretch.
That was well done.
That was a long way to get there too.
Before I decide, anyone else? 2 cents?
I think I would go with the Blackhawk, and I even get a little bit touchy when you talk about using American Indian names with.
Yeah, me too.
But I do know the Blackhawks, out of all of the teams going across different sports, I do know the Blackhawks have worked hard to kind of respect that type of culture. So for that, they also get a brownie point for me. So.
Mike?
I'm not touching it.
Mike doesn't touch these things. All right, so here we go. We look at a couple different ways. The blues in and of themselves is just a musical form is difficult, but a blues singer, I met some mean ass blues singers.
I think Al Secord would kick the crap out of Billie Holiday.
There you go. So,
I have to agree with him on that.
A blues performer versus there's some pretty mean ones. Spend some time in New Orleans. But anyway, I'll say though, I just think at the end of the day, a Blackhawk is just a motivated. Will be motivated, too motivated. So yeah, I think the Blackhawks win this one based on that.
Let's see Louis Armstrong stop Bobby Hull's slap shot with the trumpet.
Listen, never mind.
All right. Rangers and Penguins. Russ.
Well, this is the tough one because I was in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, Game 7, in attendance. Went on Pittsburgh radio, thought Pittsburgh would win, and the Rangers pulled it out. After the game, Mike Lang said that was one of the best performances he had ever seen from Henrik Lundqvist, and really any goalie coming into that building trying to win a Game 7. He was, he was really
Yeah.
He was not making excuses for the Penguins. He was like, wow, this is something that the Rangers did this. And it was a great year for the Rangers. It was. It's 2 years later. The defense is banged up. The scoring, you don't know if you're getting anything from Rick Nash. I think Eric Stahl's got a shoulder injury. I watched him hit the deck one day and then come up in pain, and then he didn't play the full last game. He came out of that game with some sort of injury, and he didn't return. So I think he's going to be limited. I mean, they still have Zuccarello-Brassard. They still have a good defensive core. No Ryan McDonough to start the series. I kind of think they're going to use Ryan McDonough when they feel like it's desperate, so you might see him 3 games down the road, but I don't think you'll see him in the first couple for sure. I think right now with Fleury back, and certainly Murray, every day that Fleury plays, Murray will get healthier. That combination is going to be good enough, I think, and I think the speed of the Penguins has given the problems to the Rangers all year. Rangers are a fast club, but the Penguins are a little faster. Hagelin will probably make a big difference, too, because that's what usually happens. Usually a guy attacks his old team. I'm going to go Penguins in 7.
Hagelin's been a pretty good playoff player, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been a pretty good playoff player, but he really, in the playoffs, special teams, PK, he's going to be great on the PK. You just know it.
Agreed. Mike, why don't you go second on this one?
Ironically, I think it's less important for the Rangers to shut down Sidney Crosby and more important to shut down the Hagelin, Bonino, and Kessel line, because that line has provided secondary offense that the Penguins didn't have, and even when Malkin was there, it was Malkin, it was Crosby, and then there was nobody else. The trades that Rutherford made, adding Daly, adding Hagelin, really helped that team in the second half. The question I have about the Penguins, I mean, I admit, I acknowledge what Russ said about the questions with the Rangers, with the health on their defense. I mean, Girardi is not going to be playing at 100%. He was hit along the boards a couple weeks ago. It probably isn't. He'll be able to play, but I'm not sure he's going to be at full level. McDonough is a big loss. But Malkin's out for Pittsburgh. Mata will be playing, even though he's not going to be 100%. And the goaltending, I mean, Fleury is practiced, but he's coming back from a concussion after 2 weeks. It's got to be a concern. If Murray was healthy, I think Murray would be playing here. But I think it's a question of who is the least banged up. And I will side with Henrik Lundqvist. I mean, Lundqvist is one of the best there is. They're going to need to ride him for them to win that series. I think it's going 7, and I'm taking the Rangers in 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. Taking the Rangers.
Gilliam.
I think the Rangers are a bit too banged up, honestly. I mean, I think McDonough is a huge loss to them. The Penguins have been so hot. They've been the hottest team, really. And I think just offensive-wise, I know Henrik Lundqvist can steal a game, maybe a game or two. I just don't see the entire team being able to overcome what the Pens can bring to the table. So I have to give it to the Penguins. I'm giving it Penguins in 6.
Penguins in 6. All right, let's go to the matchups on this one. All right, so the matchup in this one.
Wait, do me a favor. You're going to the math first, right? And then you'll make your pick after.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to see.
He already has his pick.
I have my pick. It's already in there, but the matchups really, really favor the Penguins in this one. In the regular season, despite the fact, of course, that the Rangers have shown that and Lundqvist has been pretty dominant in the playoffs. So this could be an instance where this matchup is completely wrong. But over the last 2 seasons, the teams have split, but the Penguins have won the last 3 games here. So that to me is usually when you win 3 or 4 games going into a series, that you have a good shot at winning 4 or 7. That's how I see it. So that's where the Penguins are. My prediction now, Russ is already up on is going to go with this. I'm going with the Penguins in 7, but I have a really hard time. This is the toughest series to pick in my mind in the entire NHL. Like, this is the one because I can see the Rangers winning this series. Marc-Andre Fleury is going to play tonight. I just talked to somebody there and they said he's going to play. I guess that could change it, but right as of now, he's going to play. They have to play him. They really do. I mean, they really are in that spot. And Marc-Andre Fleury, we all know about Marc-Andre Fleury in the playoffs. If you have this, I hate the concept of this because I had to quit hockey because of concussions. I know what concussions are like. So it's like the concept of having a concussion, which already makes you feel weird and offbeat, going into the playoffs, which for Marc-Andre Fleury has not been the greatest place to be, and he's had, if you can say what, he hasn't been the reason they've lost, but he also hasn't been the reason they've won in a long time.
Last year he was real solid. He was
really solid, but but there's still, it doesn't take too long or too many bad goals for the questions to come out with Marc-Andre Fleury in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. It's like that's just the bottom line. He hasn't
dependable like Lundqvist.
He's not in Lundqvist's world. He hasn't dispelled all that fear that people have, So, yeah, I mean, to me, the Penguins are playing so well, and yes, I want to. And Kessel has shown, in his one time in the playoffs, he had a good playoff. I thought against the Bruins, he was pretty strong. If I remember right, Mike?
He was actually in the playoffs with the Bruins too before the trade, and he was good with them as well. So yeah, he shows up in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and he is such a handful. I mean, he really is a great player in certain situations, and despite his 9 hits in the regular season that we talked about before, which seems like I could skate on the ice and hit more than 9 people. But yeah, that's really hard to do. It must be really fast to avoid as many hits as he could have, because he absolutely. But anyway, I do think that at the end of the day, the Penguins just have so much going for them. But I really don't want to pick this series. I'm going with the Penguins in 7, but I'm going to tell you right now that I honestly don't know. Like, I don't have a feel on this one at all. And the Rangers could very easily take this game. I can see the Rangers winning in 5. Like, I could see something like that happening too. So it's crazy.
Only if 2 goalies go out and Jeff Zakov's in there. Only.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, Zakov you can't lay it all on him. I mean, it's like.
I mean, if it gets to that point, the Rangers, with their experience, they'll sniff him out. But the Rangers' defense right now, you got to remember, like, basically Klein and Yandel is their #1 pairing. Right. Klein, I've looked at his numbers and I've done the math, even though you don't think I do math. And Klein really, after 20 minutes, definitely loses effectiveness. And so that's an issue for the Rangers that nobody wants to really think about, but it does happen because that's not been the kind of player he's been. So now he's got to elevate to make up for the losses. That's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I urge you now to go back and rewind to the point where Russ said, "I did the math." Is exactly the point at which Jillian yawned. Just keep an eye on that.
Well, math is boring. I mean,
I hate math so much. I know it's important, but I hate it.
Russ said that I did the math, Jillian yawned. Feel free to rewind on YouTube, and you'll see exactly what I mean. It was.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Oh, I applaud her for yawning. Math is boring.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you for having my back.
All right, let's go to the tail of the tape. Here we go. Ding. A Penguin versus a Ranger. All right. Now, not many people know where the Rangers got their name from, but the Rangers, it actually is a park ranger, a Central Park being the park. That's where it comes from. And park rangers are all trained together in the park ranger system out in Colorado. I know I have a friend who was a park ranger, and they're trained. And one of the big things they're trained in is in dealing with wild animals. So, I mean, a penguin's strengths, of course, are they're incredibly fast underwater.
They're also incredibly cute. So that's
very cute. They are. They're the most filmed animal of all time when it comes to documentaries. They are. They can't fly, of course. They are. But they are buoyant waterfowl. They can swim and they can go through the water like they're flying. They stay together. They're incredible in tough circumstances. They are able to, get together, and they work as a team, and can, if anyone who's seen March of the Penguins knows that was a pretty cold movie. But at the end of the day, a park ranger, his job is to handle animals. Okay, so I think that that's my opinion. But where you guys disagree at all?
I can see it's a simple case of trap and release. Yes.
Trap and release, right?
It's more like trap, and then you can see the penguin on a spit rotating over fire with.
Oh, you don't eat penguin.
No one eats.
They're too cute. Stop talking about eating a penguin. They're they're really soft too when you pet them. They're very soft, and they waddle. Like they don't even they can't even.
Have you pet a penguin, Jillian?
I have at SeaWorld. Don't judge me.
No, I know. I'm curious. That's awesome. No, I've always wanted to pet a penguin. That's why.
They're super soft.
In Finland, those puffins that look great. They have the.
They're mean mammals.
Similar look to a penguin, but they're a little more colorful. They eat them in Finland. They eat them
in Finland,
really?
but
yes.
Here's my For my honeymoon, my wife and I went to the northern coast of Norway and to see to take a cruise where they had 24 hours of sunlight, and we wanted to see penguins, not realizing either of us, despite our education, that penguins are only in the south.
Womp womp womp.
But we did see puffins.
Puffins are cute.
Puffins are cute.
See, we're talking about how cute they are. There's no way they're going to win against a park ranger. That's just...
Yeah, the park ranger, all I do is control them.
All of you are talking about how cute they are, and I'm talking about barbecuing them.
Yeah.
No, a
little
bit of garlic.
You can't barbecue them. They're too cute.
A little bit of garlic.
They waddle.
Okay, no, you never eat a penguin. I don't know if you could sous vide a penguin. Actually, you probably could.
Oh, God. Here we go again.
Is that our new sponsor?
Yeah. Apparently.
No, so let's. You know what? While I was here, I also wanted Dan and Ty to chime in, so I got their predictions here as well. So we can. So because I know Mike, you're going to track all these. You're good at this.
Yes.
And all right. So Ty gives us Tampa in 7. Dan gives us Tampa in 6.
Okay.
Ty gives us Pittsburgh in 6. Dan gives us Pittsburgh in 5.
I'm the only one who took the Rangers.
You like to be different. I admire that.
No. That's somebody else.
What I love is the hatred of the Rangers by Dan, and then the fun hatred of the Islanders back. Which I know Russ doesn't hate the Islanders, but the fun that goes. It's pretty good. All right, and then Ty picked the Blues in 7, like I did.
And me too. I get credit for that.
Right, you, Ty, and I are the smart ones.
I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not losing that credit.
No. You 3 of us are the smart ones, and Dan picked the Hawks in 6, like Mike did. So, are you gonna side with Jillian and I or Mike? What do you think?
Well, if they're never mind.
What are you gonna say?
Never mind.
Tomorrow we'll be back with. No, Russ won't be here.
Russell will be wending his way to exciting Grand Forks, North Dakota.
While applying for new jobs.
What is Grand Forks?
Applying for jobs.
While applying for new jobs.
I will have a proxy though.
You never insult the boss's shirt, man. Come on, what the hell?
Listen, I gotta call it like I see it. The only thing I'll say, because I won't be able to state my case tomorrow, is the one thing that I think is really being overlooked by a lot of people. Barry Trotz has been the coach for 2 years for the Capitals. Last year, the Capitals didn't choke. They lost in Game 7 to the Rangers in the second round. That is not choking.
No, I know.
And they weren't. That was kind of like a late push playoff run for them too. They weren't like a favorite in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard so many times today, so many different places, how they continue to choke. They didn't choke last year, so we got to get off it.
But if they lose in the first round this year, which I don't think they will, that is choking.
Yeah, if they would have lost in Game 7 to the Islanders, that would have been a choke.
Yes.
Right.
Because they were the better of the 2 teams.
Right, I agree with that.
That's all. I just want to make that point because, you know what, the other thing that gets overlooked by the Capitals is we all talk about the offense and everything else. They have very big defensemen. They have very heavy defensemen, and that's something they didn't have 3 years ago. And that makes a big difference in their game now, too. It does.
No, it does. And, Tom Wilson, like you said, I think will be a major factor. We talked about that before. But I think Tom Wilson will be a major factor in that series.
He will be.
But I still not putting my prediction out there for this one yet. But
me neither. I haven't put it out there.
Wait, have you guys not filled out NHL brackets? What?
No.
I know. You know what? I thought about this, and we should do that. I know it's late now, but we should. You
can still do it. You have until 6:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight.
Yeah, maybe
I'll try now. I might be able to get on by 6:59.
Can we do a?
Julian,
I got one actually on there. We could actually invite people to go on Hockey Buzz, right?
I got 7 of the 8 first-round matchups last year. I picked Tampa Bay and Chicago, and I think I finished 10,000th.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I lost 1 of the first-round matchups.
Yeah.
And I still, basically you have to go 8-0 in the first round. You have to, it's like an NCAA bracket. It's so ridiculous that the odds of you winning are absurd.
I don't play to win. I play to talk trash, though.
Right.
So.
See, I think maybe this is the kind of thing, Jillian, that you could form a group.
Yeah. Yeah, you can form a group on NHL.com. So they have r/hockey has a group. That's the league I joined. It's leagues that you sign up for. So there's like thousands of leagues. So you could do a Hockey Buzz one.
Yeah, that's what we should probably do that. All right, let me get on that right now. I will get on that. I'll send it out. Send it out to people.
Okay, we'll get on the draft lottery simulator.
Of course.
We only have another 17 or another 13 shows to do this.
I do want to tell people I did put out a new ranking today, so if they want to go to Sportsology, they can see it's version number 2, and then when I get back from the under-18s, I'll do a version 3.
And you'll have a link to X Shirt Company.
Oh, I know.
What's that bet? You and I have a bet going. No, actually, I had a pretty good. Didn't I just win this bet? I won a bet here against you because the Flyers made the playoffs.
Yeah, you won a bet. That's a winnable one.
I mean, I think I'm still down 4 bets, but I think I'm like back. The next bet I'm going to make with you is you're going to have to buy me one of these shirts.
What color would you buy, Russ? I have to know.
No, I get to pick it.
What colors do they come in?
They come in every color.
They don't come in every color, because if I say yellow, they don't make one in yellow.
In every color of the rainbow.
Right, I feel like they do make it in yellow. If they make it in white, they have to make it in yellow. I'm sorry.
Since it was a bet on the Flyers, get them an orange-colored one.
I
Perfect.
I will make this bet, and it would be in yellow. That's what it would be. But
you have to wear the orange one.
You have to win a bet for a shirt I don't want. I mean, it's got to be something that I want.
Wait, so no, then if you lose the bet, you get the yellow shirt.
If I lose the bet, I have to buy the yellow shirt myself.
Yeah.
You have to wear the orange shirt on Monday when the Flyers play at home.
All right, we'll talk about this, but we got to come up with something else.
I'll be at the Flyers game on Wednesday and the Islanders game on Sunday.
You will be awesome.
If anyone want to come say hi, I'll be in various sections.
You got to tweet out like a meetup spot or something.
Tweet at me.
Right.
So wait, which day for the Flyers game?
Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, I'll be there Wednesday. I'll find you.
I'll be there Monday. Unfortunately, I won't be there Wednesday. But yeah, we'll have to. But when you're in town here, we have to talk. You have to say hi.
Sorry, I'm only going to American Hockey League games.
Oh, poor Buffalo and Toronto.
It's okay.
So
all right, let's do this. In life, you get what you. Anyway, all right, here we go. Let's pick a winner. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Everything's coming up.
I think my belief is someone has gotten in here and hacked this thing because the Leafs all the time lately. Followed by the Ottawa Senators. Okay, the province of Ontario. Followed by the Winnipeg Jets. Turf off the
Canadian. Or Canada.
Yes, oh Canada, you sure do draft well. Okay, so there you have it, and we'll be back again tomorrow with Mike, Dan, Jillian. No,
I will be in Toronto tomorrow.
In Toronto. Wow, you really do.
Austin Matthews tomorrow.
Yeah. What was that? What was that, Mike?
You'll be in the future home of Austin Matthews tomorrow.
Yeah. Hopefully, right?
There is no dust on that woman's shoulders.
No. I'm on Friday though. Live from Toronto.
Live from Toronto.
Yes.
Of course, you're not supposed to pronounce the second T.
Whatever. I'm from Philly, Boston.
I know.
I can do what I want.
I always get that.
We make up words all the time.
That's right. Water. Okay, so here we go. I know. I need another drink of water.
Gotta get that John over there.
That's what I always get. Yeah, the South Jersey twang that I grew up with. That's what I always get yelled at for. All right. Remember, without the buzz, it's just hockey. Enjoy the games tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with 4 more games to talk about.